2, 1. And just like that, we're live, everybody. So come on in, come on in. Laurel and I are here to share with you guys what's going on in the cosmos right now. It is the 4th of July, but it has a lot more meaning, really, than just the day that America signed the Declaration of Independence and won our freedom. There's a lot of spiritualness, a lot of aspects. Oh, here we got all people coming in already. Eleanor says, here we are again. Umer is here. Awesome. So come on in, everybody. Laurel and I are just going to take a moment and share this out. That's always the most difficult part for me, is like the multitasking. I should be really a great multitasker, being a mother of 3 and owning my own business.
I know you are.
Juggling. I got to put juggling on my resume. Okay, right post. I'm going to share this out. I'm sharing the Akashic Academy.
Life juggler.
Right? Post failed? What do you mean my post failed? Right. I'm going to share.
Hello,
in the groups. This is Laurel, everybody. Say hello to Laurel. Brian is, oh, Stacy, that's my cousin, is here. Karen is here. Karen K, she's a member of the Akashic Academy, and also she has moved through learning to read the Akashic Records with me. Brian Cable is here. He's a graduate and a certified Akashic Records practitioner. We have Jess is in the house. Kelly is here. Yeah, lots of people here with us today, my friend.
Our tech is so funny. I feel like our children are gonna laugh so hard at our tech, you know?
They totally might.
I have my phone like balanced with a crystal like on this box because I need a tripod with all the cords.
Let's see.
Welcome, you guys. Wow.
Yeah, everybody, welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna put the phone down now. We got Kelly in the house. We've got Gautam in the house. Sometimes I have to sound out the names. I'm glad that thank you guys for being patient with me while I sound out everybody's name. All right, my friend Laurel Love here in the house. Laurel is from Welcome to 5D. Ooh, that was very loud. Laurel has, honestly, guys, in terms of bringing in powerful knowledge, powerful wisdom, holding the space, somebody that you vibe off of, Laurel and I have just kind of like this explosive, energetic quality that happens when we get together and start talking. So I'm really excited to open up the conversation with you guys today. Laurel, let me turn it over to you. Introduce yourself to my peeps here and tell them a little bit about you and whatever you want to say hello. And then we'll get started with this discussion about what's actually going on this first week of July. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Emily. Yeah. Our relationship is really cool. How we met each other. I don't even remember exactly. Like the way that I live my life is I kind of made this deal with God, which is funny to say that because it's just funny, but I think I did.
I've made a few deals with God along the way too.
Pretty sure I did. So I made this deal with God. I made this deal with God that the first thing that would come to me would be something that I really need to like send energy into. Like when I'm researching something, instead of digging through, I'm always like, the best thing comes to me, the highest vibration that I need or whatever comes to me, and I kind of just live my life that way. And so anyway, somehow Emily came to me in my life, and she has this free consultation thing with her Akashic Academy. So I was like, oh, I'm always about, that's my favorite price. So I was like, I want to get that free consultation. So anyway, I remember when I listened to you, it was just like everything I needed to hear was like exactly and precise, which I knew wasn't just something about you specifically, but something about our relationship, like something about like the way that, and this has been an interesting journey, you and I, like seeing how energy goes and how we learn different things, specifically with the divine feminine. I'm getting off on kind of a tangent, but specifically with the divine feminine coming through right now and opening up that place where the negative, not the negative, but the negative meaning the receptive, is finding so much voice. And like there's so many other places that haven't been spoken about. It's like we're coming together in disagreement but agreement. It's super interesting, you know? So anyway, all that to say, for me, like my specific journey is that was raised kind of like religious and knew that wasn't right, and like got awakened really abruptly in 2014. Like I call it when I got zapped by lightning by this guy. Like he literally zapped me with his eyes, and my whole everything has opened and changed in this whole other way. And I think what's interesting is that what we're finding now, what we're discussing, is just the things that have always been there. You know, like there's nothing that new that's happening. It's just all of a sudden we're like awake and I can like see stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, do you see this too?
Yes.
And then it too, but they see like another side of it, so we have to describe perspective and whatnot. So anyway, all that to say, I'm super glad to have met you and what you're doing and how you've like, because what you're learning with the Akashic, like you've structured it in a certain way that I haven't structured it in my life. I'm very like floaty, so it's cool when we come together and combine this stuff. You teach me so much, so yeah.
Thank you. Well, let's see. Oh, George has said he's just wanting a clear future. I did see Justin's comment come up a second ago saying, does anyone having issues hearing Laurel? I hear Laurel great. If anybody else has an issue, go ahead and type it in and we'll try to do some fiddling with that. But I'm not having any tech issues. Oh, thank you right now. So if anybody else is having trouble, just let us know that you're having a difficult time hearing it. We'll fiddle with some things. I want to be, without discussing like the fine mechanics of everything that happened between us, I do want to like expose a little bit about how our relationship went, because it was like really dynamic in the beginning. And we were like, boom. And then we had kind of a tanking. Like when you talked about, oh wait, Kelly says, I can't really hear either. All right, let's see. Laura, do you have headphones by any chance?
Oh yeah, I do.
Let's grab your headphones and stick your headphones in while I'm telling this part of the story. So Laura, we've actually known each other for quite a while, maybe over a year. And in the beginning, it was, Laurel sounds muffled, like the microphone is covered. Okay. We'll have to fix your mic there. So we had this moment where it was like really great in the beginning. And then it was kind of like, there were things about, and we were like, I don't know. And Laurel, seriously, right? And how many times does that happen in life? Like you feel a connection with somebody and then it's all of a sudden it's like, maybe that wasn't what I thought it was, but it really was. What Laurel and I were doing was we were establishing the ability to bridge areas where sometimes we butt heads with people. And that's one thing that I find so dynamic about my relationship with Laurel is that she came back around again and was like, hey, I think we need to talk again. I think there's more to this relationship with the two of us. And I was like, I think you're right. And so we had a conversation and we were able to share with each other. She shared with me where she was coming from and I shared where I was coming from. And all of a sudden the synergy came back. And it was really, really incredible. It was like we got married and then we got divorced and then we got married again, right? And I feel like it's like it shifted so dramatically in one moment. And I feel like that is really a powerful part of the pattern that is happening in our lives right now. We can have incredible shift and opening when we remain open in our minds and hearts. And I just really wanted to share with everyone that is the basis of this relationship here with Laurel. And everything that is going to come out of what she and I bring to you now is because we both remained open. We remained open-hearted, open-minded. We were willing to forgive. We were willing to see things from other perspectives, not just our own. And it created this synergy where we can come together to you now and bring together what she's really great at, what I'm really great at. And we've come up with, and Laurel is the mastermind behind this, what I'm calling this trilogy. Okay, so today is really the planting the roots and creating the structure for, Louise is here. Hello, my friend. For what it is we're going to be bringing to you guys over the next couple of weeks. Laurel has had this download, I'll call it, of what it is that she feels like we can do to show up to, quote, activate you guys. And we'll talk a little bit more about what all of that means. But this is a trilogy coming through. And what we want to start talking about today is specifically the cosmic energies that are happening right now. They happen every single first week of July, right? Because of the way that we're moving through the cosmos. And Laurel, I want to turn it over to you at this point. Explain to everyone a little bit about exactly what is happening right now on the planet and how we can really tune in to benefit from that. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to you. You're going to talk about what's going on.
Okay, totally. Yeah. Okay, wait. First of all, what I also wanted to say, is that better, you guys? Like, can you like heart if it's better? Is my voice better? Can you like heart it?
Give us heart it up.
Do something, or somebody say something.
Or somebody type in that yes, we.
All right. Well, I hope it's better. Okay, so I'm going with it's better. Yay! I see things. Hooray!
Okay, good.
There's even flowers now. Why is there flower? Oh, there's so many things. Yay! Hooray! That's fantastic.
Awesome.
Okay, so I'm such a kid. Okay, so whoa. So yeah, so we're traveling through what's called the Sirius Gateway, which happens from July the 3rd to the 7th. But before I go to that, which I want to talk about that. What I wanted to say too, when you were talking about our relationship, this is funny because this came through for me this morning, that just in my own time with myself, I was like, God, how is, I see a lot of things happening for me in my life that I see other people trying to make happen for them, and they can't make them happen for them. And I don't understand what the difference is between me and other people. And I'm not saying I'm better at I will never say that, because I don't really believe in that, And I was like, what is it, God? And God was like, it's because you stay out of criticism. And I was like, oh. And he was like, that, because people ask me all the time, they're like, what's the easiest way to or what's the way to in this ascension, what's the main thing? Give me a number one thing that will bring on all the activation, all the channels being open, all the information, everything coming through.
Yes. And
it's staying out of criticism of anyone. And if you're like, oh, well, I'm clear on that. I don't criticize other people. I'm good. But do you criticize yourself? So, yeah, they said my forehead's
perfect. Okay, there you go. Yes.
Okay. Ta-da. Okay. But do I criticize? Okay. So anyway, anywhere, or do I criticize surroundings? Do I criticize circumstances? Am I looking outward for criticism? Because it's not just you're being critical, but it's indicative of a nature of energetic process.
Yes.
You're sending your energy this way. You're sending your energy out like that, instead of coming back in, like the Ankh, coming back into ourselves and because we have a finite amount of energy, and so we can cycle it through. Wow, what we're doing. Yeah. Okay. So,
and how cool is it that both of us were able to move through our own self-growth and learning by criticizing each other, and then looking at the fact that we were criticizing each other, and then criticizing and moving through that whole dynamic. And it was such a powerful lesson. And yeah. I said it was we got married and then we got divorced. But getting that divorce, that criticism was actually part of your and my soul contract to show up and teach each other. And I'm so glad that we were willing to move through that and take a second look at that and be willing to be like, oh, it is what it is. Let's not criticize the criticism. Let's keep moving. Let's keep open. And we get this very dynamic relationship out of this. And I love that you talked about that. Guys, where are you criticizing yourself for other people? Because it's going to block you instantly from your own ascension process. So that shit's got to go. Okay?
Yeah. And it's an indicator. Really all it is an indicator. What we've been taught is because we've been taught this threefold process of blocking what's really going on. First there's this smoke screen, and we think it's this thing, but it's actually not. It's something behind that, So we have this, let me explain. So in society, they've taught us criticism is, you being a bad person, you're being a morally bad person, and it's bad for your heart, whether it's whatever that is, right? But it's no, that's what's happening in that situation is you're identifying two different frequencies, two different perspectives. This is a still life, and you're looking at it from over here, and I'm looking at it from over here. So my perspective is not going to be the same as yours, and no matter whether or not we're looking at exactly the same thing, I'm going to tell you something different than you tell me, no matter till I die. Same thing for you. But so it's that's the beauty of it. And when we can come together and we can all be oh, I see this side, and someone says, oh, I see this side, and we're oh shit, tell me what you see, tell me what's over there. I want to see that. Instead of being no, I know you're wrong, and let me tell you why, So it's to look at that situation like that and be oh, wow, that's really cool. You know what I mean? Tell me what's there. because then all this other stuff is free to come through. So we can look at it like, and that's what I told Emily, that's what I told you. I was like, any woman that I've ever had this feeling of before, where like it just keeps coming up, where I'm like, ooh, I don't even know if I should like block their name from my feed, because I just get this feeling when I see them, and like I don't understand what it is, because it's really not about anything. Like nothing really happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like really, like it's really nothing. And so I was like, whenever that happens, it's always been because there's really going to be some strength in that relationship. Like it was going to be something that we really find out. And so to look at those things, to look at fear, criticism, anything, like a Post-it note that you put on life, you know, like one of those little lawyer Post-it note things, those little fluorescent note things that you put right there. Like, look at this. You know what I mean? But okay, so let's talk about Sirius. Okay,
talk about Sirius.
Okay,
let's get serious now, Laurel.
Sirius. You guys, seriously? Let's talk about Sirius.
Seriously.
Okay, seriously. So, you know that today is the red, white, and blue. Today is red. Wow, they celebrate. We have this day, July the 4th, Independence Day, that really, you know, when you look at all of our holidays, they're around basically a Syrian calendar. Like the people who created the calendar.
The Mayans.
Well, no, it wasn't the Mayans, because the Mayans made the right
Mayans.
calendar. No, the Gregorian calendar. Like the Mayans are correct. Like we're going back to Mayan time. The Mayans were like the experts of the stars. No, the jerk face guys that made the calendar that we have right now. I don't know whatever team we want to call them, but the ones who said that we have a calendar with 12 houses and they say, you know, 30 to 31 days. Like it doesn't fit. You know what I'm saying? Like the year doesn't fit. The 12 houses and the days don't fit. Like if we went back to a 13 house year with 28 days, it would fit correctly. It would fit perfectly. You know how we have 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31. We have to remember a stupid rhyme because it doesn't fit, you know? But anyway, la 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 la. Okay, so Sirius. Sirius is the biggest star that's closest to us, the biggest constellation that's closest to us, closest to our solar system, closest to our, to our Milky Way galaxy. It's the closest next constellation. Sirius A is red and Sirius B is blue. So we have to think about a time when, we have to think about a time when like there wasn't like TV and stuff, and all you did was go out and look at the stars, and it was really easy to factor in what was going on with the stars because that was TV. You know what I mean? Like that was all there was noticing different stuff in the sky. So there was you had nothing else to do besides that. So it was easy to tell when these different stars were coming in and out of the galaxy, and different things that would happen with the nature, with growth, with harvest, all these different things. So they began to notice, you know, all these different stars and their comings and goings in the sky and whatnot. Right now, what we're going through, it's called the Sirius Gateway, where Sirius A is farthest away from us right now. Sorry, my nose is itching so bad. Someone's talking about me. It's farthest away right now. And so actually what's happening is this insane energetic pull on the earth. At the same time, so that's a normal thing that we go through. That's a normal thing every year that happens from about July, the first week in July. Then on top of that, also our solar system is also traveling through another part in the galaxy where we're actually expanding. So we're getting all these different crazy rays and everything coming from the sun. And for some reason, nobody's talking about this. But like if you go on NASA, like, which I don't really trust NASA that much, but they are talking about like the rays and the cosmic stuff. Like if you look at cosmic news, they are admitting it because you can see it. You can see different huge sunspots on the sun, different waves coming through, which is like, I mean, they're huge. It's huge amounts of energy. Like we're literally mutating right now. I wish I wasn't using my phone and my computer right now because I found this quote this morning right from this doctor who doctors are admitting it. We're genetically mutating. We're literally changing into super people right now. Like and our genetics are expanding and changing. So this is a huge time. And what's happening right now is we're continuing to go through these cycles of waves. I know for definitely the next 3 years, people have these like energetic, updates, energy updates, like, oh, this energy, and like, that's great. But the thing is, we're going to go up and down with the full moon cycle. We're going to keep getting these big waves come through, because what's happening is we're changing. We're literally shifting, and like, it's written into what's going to go on right now, that this is going to continue to happen. So instead of being like, light workers be all crazy face, you know what I mean? When this happens, like, to begin to learn how to surf these waves.
Absolutely. Can I just interject quickly, because I love how you talk about how we are mutating and we are actually like shifting and changing. The language that I use, and you guys might who hang out with me and follow me might have heard me use this language of upgrading our DNA or activating our DNA. This is kind of the language that I use to describe what's happening. So we already have this DNA structure inside of us that is it's like the blueprint, right, of how we like what our human being, our human nature is. And not only the physical blueprint, but the spiritual blueprint, the emotional blueprint. Not all of these strands of DNA have actually been activated yet. In some of us, we are starting to activate more and more of these strands of DNA based on how spiritually evolved, how much commitment we have done to raising our vibration, to consciously activating this DNA. For those of us who have not yet really brought our awareness to the process of doing it, doesn't matter anymore, guys, because where we're at in the cosmos, we are being bombarded. This is what Laurel was talking about these cosmic rays, these photons of light. Right now, our association with Sirius, this planet, which is known as the spiritual sun of this solar system, is putting us in contact with the energy that is upgrading and activating the DNA, whether we're ready for it or not. So many people are feeling like this upheaval happening in their lives. And what's actually going on is the energy, as it activates us, as it activates these dormant strands of DNA, and particularly the ones that are being activated right now are the spiritual strands that I was talking about. These multidimensional layers, which allow us to have more expanded consciousness, which allow us to see beyond the frequencies of light that most human beings see. So we're seeing auras, seeing beings showing up in our space, the ability to be more intuitive. These are the strands of DNA that are being activated as we are moving through the place in the galaxy that we are right now. And when these things come up and they get activated, it seems like all hell breaks loose in our lives, right? Once we learn, and Laurel and I talked about perspective, about you're seeing so you're standing in front of this painting and you're seeing it from this place. Step over here and look at it from here for a second. Shift your perspective. Learn to see that this upheaval that's happening in your life is your shit coming to the surface so that you can see it, you can clear it, you can understand it in a different way. Okay? When criticism comes up, we're not meant to get on the criticizing bus and start picking out, okay, I like what this person says and I don't like and I like this, so I'm going to identify with this. It's not even about that. It's about noticing, oh shit, I'm criticizing everywhere I look. I need to stop doing that. And that's where you get the biggest transformation. That's where you get the most activation of what's happening right now, is when you learn to look at things in the nature of patterns. Okay, so right now, this first week of July, how we are moving through the cosmos, we're putting ourselves in contact. We aren't doing it. It's the way that our planet is moving, but we are in contact with all of this photonic light, which is having these certain effects on our body, on our being, on our lives. And that's what's going on with you right now. If you're wondering what in the heck is happening, this is an opportunity for very, very big spiritual advancement, specifically during this gateway, would we call it a Syrian gateway or a Sirius gateway? Yeah. It's a gateway that's opening right now.
And so it's like we can be putting things into play. That's so good. That's so good, Emily. Yeah, we can. Thank you for really clarifying that, like the science of it. Yeah, like within our DNA, they've told us that we have a 2-strand DNA, but we can map at least 24 strand right now. And it's funny because 2-strand, you think of it how it's like that little twisty ladder, and then there's the little like these. And so you think 24, you think that there's going to be 24 of these, but there's actually not. There's just all these different new strands that become activated in this thing, which I actually wonder if it becomes a piece where the whole thing just gets whole. I mean, because like really, when you go back to sacred geometry, the flower of life is a slice of activated DNA. So like, you know, like this is the flower of life right here. Like if I turned it like that, you know, and then across a piece of activate, and this is the DNA, you know, top, bottom. That's what I'm using my hand, whatever. But so the flower of life is a slice across of it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah, so that's what's happening right now is that our all these different parts of us that have been dormant, we're just seeing stuff that's already.
That's what I show people. Here's an image of the flower of life.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like there.
Yeah, that's a picture of activated DNA. Like if you took it and sliced across the
like a tree. Like if you cut a tree and you looked at the ring like that. Oh my gosh, that's cool. I loved that. So this is what activated DNA, a cross section of activated DNA looks like.
Right. Yeah. Whoa. Which is like what we're, which is, it's funny because that's actually what crop circles are right now too. Crop circles are, I don't know if you've seen, I posted this video yesterday. There's this group called the Thrive Movement right now that are doing these, a lot of people I've heard wanted to do these like digitally, they're doing these digitally activated, or digitally, animated, showing like what really happens with energy. So they're taking crop circles and they're taking the picture, like you're saying, it's a slice, right? So they're taking it and animating it in movement and showing how these crop circles are actually different examples for batteries and things like that. Like, okay, you know how in China, there's like all those big cat statues that are like with the little like, I don't know, and they're holding with their paw, they're like something, they're holding a ball that's the flower of life. Like the flower of life is everywhere, all over, all over the world when you really begin to look places. Because really all it is like if you see, I have a ring of it.
Oh,
like,
yes, you do.
See the ring of it, that little center one, that 6-petaled flower, that's really it, that little daisy. Like, and that little daisy, I've actually seen, I met the guy who was the keynote speaker at Tesla Tech and like a couple years ago, and he's made this battery that works on a quarter gram of gold, and it works forever, and it's the shape of that first little hexagon and the flower. Like that's where it travels on that current. And he's made like the working dynamics he's made like the working mechanics for a car battery that never dies, an air conditioning for your house that never dies, a generator for your house that never, basically it's available. All this stuff is like completely available and it's coming. So anyway, so back to the DNA, back to activation. Here's what we're going to do. Sorry, taking it back. So what we're doing this week is specifically there's like certain energies coming through. There's power in collective coming together. Like these live videos are great because we're coming together all at one time. Our energy's coming together all at one time. You know, people say, share the video and like it and all this stuff. The thing is, you can feel when that energy comes together. So it's powerful. So, we'll record them for later, but it's better to like be at the time. But anyway, so that's what we want to do. I want to do on the 7th, and I was told to do on the 7th and the 11th, because we're now in a place where people are really honoring. It's not so much about the numbers being sacred, but about people honoring the numbers. There's intention is so important, you know what I mean? And so now we're actually coming to a place where we're honoring the fact that like this is where we are, this is this day, this is this time. We're beginning to come back to like having sacred, holy for everything, is where we should, you know what I mean?
Ceremony, right? For lack of a better word, it's ceremony, and that's what it is that we're doing here. Yeah, Shelly, we're all right where we're supposed to be right now in this moment. And thank you guys all again who are joining and coming in and sharing out this video. This is where we're all supposed to be. Brian is saying
same activation. No, it will not. It'll be like, the thing is, everything I do is always different. Like, so I don't know what's going to come through. I didn't know what was going to come through today. I only get like a little bit of information. So basically what we're going to do is Emily is an expert at like getting the space structured and like bringing people into the space and opening the space with the Akashic, like opening it, like, and getting people together with the breathing. She's really good at that. So I'm going to let her like hold that space and do that. And then we're going to go back and forth about anything that we see in terms of just removing things and then putting things in. I do this specific thing where a lot of times what comes through is I take people's DNA out and I get them to reformat their DNA and then put that back in their body. I'm not really sure exactly what's going to happen, but I do know that the coming together at this time, activating on 7/7 and activating on 7/11, it definitely will be different. So if I was you, I would want to come to both of them. I mean, not because I would want to see me, but no, just because. But so if you can't do both of them, you can always get the recording or come to one.
Yes.
And record,
the post will still be up, so you guys can always come back and check out the post if you can't be there. We will, of course, advertise it like crazy, so you can arrange your schedules to show up with us. Kelly asked a question a second ago that I flashed up there about how can we help this activation process along. Well, first, we already kind of talked about removing criticism is a big way to being open and being ready. Allowing, being in a mode of allowance is excellent. And I also just would like to clarify a little bit about what Laurel shared about how she so greatly put my expertise. Here's what I'll show you that my Akashic Records have. They've given me this description to share with you guys. And they tell me to look at myself like the Great Pyramid. Okay, so the Great Pyramid, in my understanding, was this giant energetic machine that held the frequency. Okay, so during the time the ancient Egyptians, and you guys might have heard me say this before, you know how many senses they use? Okay, so we use 5 senses really to process our 3D world, right? Those of us who are working to activate the inner senses, like the clairvoyance, the clairaudience, we're adding a couple more tools to our sensory toolbox. You know how many those ancient Egyptians used? 360. Which to me, I know, right? I'm like, wow, I can't even imagine having that many senses. But if I break it down just on a very simplistic nature, it makes me recognize they had awareness completely every degree around them, right? Yeah. And every amount of their sphere around them, around their energetic bodies, they had this level of awareness, which is what brought them to a higher level of consciousness, okay? How were they able to do that? The Great Pyramids. Now, the Nile River used to run right up to the causeway of the pyramid. It has since moved, all right? As we move and the planet shifts, it's not running through. The pyramid is no longer this hydraulic giant machine that's activated by that river because of the movement and the shifting of the planet. But during that time, when the pyramid was activated, the pyramids, and not just the Great Pyramid, but many pyramids around the planet, acted as these frequency holders. Okay, so the reason why the ancient Egyptians were able to hold that higher consciousness and have 360 senses activated was because they had access to these big frequency machines that held a higher frequency for them. Now, in today's, Laurel talked about the assholes that created the Gregorian calendar might be doing a little I might be doing criticizing there by calling them the a-holes. Let me just cancel. They're just learning too. Right? Okay.
Wah wah.
Wah wah wah. You hear a lot of people talking about the Kabul or the Illuminati or these forces that be that are actually we feel like they're suppressing us on this planet. So there are things like chemtrails. There are things like the Gwen trees that you see up. There are things like vaccinations, in my opinion, the food sources, the food supplies that we have. There are so many ways that we are being programmed to be suppressed, to not expand our energy and our awareness. Because as soon as we become expanded and we open up, we start the process of becoming free. Hello, freedom. Hello, July 4th, the day of freedom, right? But if we remain slaves, then we continue to work in the system that keeps these people in control and keeps these people, the ones who are in power, it keeps them rich, and it creates a certain frequency on our planet. There's Karen K saying, so they've replaced the pyramid with elf frequency. That's funny. They've replaced the giant frequency with the teeny tiny like that. I think of elves as being like little, but elves actually are very...
oh no, she means elf. She means she's talking about the towers.
Right. She's talking about the towers. I was making the size reference.
Oh right,
to like being giant and then going to very small. Yep. But the elves and gnomes, in my opinion, the elves, the gnomes, the fairies, these are all realms that are actually very real. Great.
I know.
Yeah, and carry magical bits of wisdom for us. So just because the elves are small doesn't mean that they're not packing a powerful punch here on the planet.
Also, if you don't like the movie Elf, like, I don't know, like, if you're a human, like, so, you know what I mean? Like the Will Ferrell movie, you know? Oh my God, I watched that movie every Christmas so many times. Okay, sorry.
It's a family favorite in our house too.
Yeah. I like to smile. Okay.
And Laurel and I actually talked about this. Justin says you were linked to the Schumann resonance. Yes, so the Schumann resonance has to do with the heartbeat, the frequency that is emitted by the planet Earth. And this is actually raising, this is scientifically proven that it's raising like crazy right now. Power to us little people. Absolutely power to the little people. Power to all of us right now. We're all stepping into our power. And that is really what I feel like my mission is. You guys have probably heard me talk about, I'm on a mission to help activate 10,000 light workers in the next 10 years. And I do that by tuning into the awareness of, I'm just going to hold a frequency. I'm going to bring people in touch with this energy, holding this frequency and allowing it to do what it's going to do. And I wanted to bring it full circle and just tie in something that Laurel and I talked about before we actually went live when we were chit-chatting. And we were talking about how, there, in terms of criticism, in terms of like looking at the Illuminati or the Kabul or the reptilians or whatever ET, whatever species, whatever entity that we look at as bad, right? And not actually bad. Here's what, in terms of what I see, let me break it down. The universe is a place for evolving. We're all constantly evolving. And even these entities that we look at as lower vibrations, right? They're evolving as well. This is the process that everyone goes through to grow and expand. And there are certain beings or entities out there who are non-sentient, means they're not using emotions, they're not using empathy. They are, that part of their DNA has not been activated yet. And so they're moving through the process of activating that for themselves. And we happen to be caught in the thrust of experiencing our own awakening and moving out of being controlled and being kept imprisoned as we wake up. But that's just us moving through our process too. It's not very difficult to look at human beings as assholes too. Right? I mean, seriously, look at the things that it's part of the reason why that there are groups like, so many radical groups that we look at as bad and they're terrorists. They're looking at Americans like, oh my gosh, we're so gluttonous and we're so like wasteful and we're so ego driven. We're so materialistic. How easy is it to look at that as being bad, right? I just had an experience where I went to the Dominican Republic, which is not a country that is wrapped up in materialism. And many people asked about my trip, about the conditions of people over there and what wasn't it bad and terrible. And it's a mindset. We as Americans are in a mindset that if other people don't have material things, that they're suffering. Okay. How easy is it to criticize Americans for having that stupid mindset? Very easy. So it's learning to see from different perspectives, releasing that criticism. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I've been rambling.
No, you're fine. I wanted to say that reminds me of that meme of the, like, there's African children and they're like on a little field and they're like, in America, they make them go to school all day inside and eat processed food and take a bunch of pills, and the kids laugh and they're like, ha ha ha, we should help them.
I haven't even seen that. That's some brilliance right there. Yeah. That is brilliance right there. All right.
Yeah. And they're like in their little, like their little outfit, whatever. Anyway, yeah, I've never met such happier people than in other places. But yeah, like indigenous cultures, like, whoa, which is back to what we were saying in terms of staying inside, staying in your lane, doing what's right in front of you. Like, everybody has stuff to do that's right in front of them, like I could show you my room right now and show you laundry I need to put away. You know what I mean? Like, we
we saw it a second ago when you were adjusting your mic.
Oh, good. Yeah, I just moved here, so I have like a pile of stuff. So anyway, but
Well, you know what? I could too. Like, if I tip my screen just the slightest bit, you're gonna see.
Oh, did
like,
you hear me?
Watch this.
No,
You're gonna see like my barbecue and my stuff over there. No, right here.
I was gonna say it's funny. Like I got into criticism of myself just then. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, just being free, being free, which is like a great thing to even say for today. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
What can you do every time that you think about freedom today? What do you think about? Think about being free and like and being free to love yourself, being free to like, okay, like what I've been doing lately that's really helping me so much is thinking about like, who is this woman that I want to be? Who is this higher self woman that I've seen, that I've visited? Who is, what are the things, like, if, people say, if they gave you $1 million right now, what would you do? Like, so we all have those like goals and plans in some regard. So it's like, I'm already that person, like if I can tell people that we can go outside of time, if I can tell people that we can time travel, if I can tell people all these things, and I know that it's real, and I've met people who've experienced these things and whatnot, then like, I'm already that girl right now. I'm already like, cause, I know what I'm going to do, and it's going to be effing rad. And like, I'm real excited about it. So like finding that excitement, like for me in the moments when I have to put away my laundry, or like when I have to do like the mundane things, and like amalgamating the energy and balancing it out, swinging it into where it's all kind of like coming together, and I can be like, yay, thank you that I have laundry to put away. Thank you that I have a roof over my head.
Yes.
Thank you that I have, like food to eat. And thank you that, all of these things, switching it into a place of gratitude, becoming aware of that place in your mind, because it's not even just for us. It's for it's for everyone, everywhere, all the time. Like I'm changing my heart. I'm changing my roommate's heart. I'm changing my neighbor's heart. I'm changing like the hearts of the people when I go to the grocery store. That's one of my favorite things to do. I don't know about you guys, but like when I go to the grocery store, or like any store, any customer service, like you are going to leave the interaction with me laughing and having a better day. I will make sure of it.
Heck yeah.
Sometimes people will, and you have to let them have a bad day if they want to. But anyway,
that's true.
like,
yes, people, do you have to give people the freedom to experience whatever is meaningful to them in that moment? And some people experience meaning through transcending their bad mood, their frustration. Like they have to learn to sit with it and be with it and figure out how to change it and shift it, and that's theirs. And we don't always have to show up and shift that for them. We have to allow them the space to be in that if they want. And if they want a little overflow of happy Laurel Love or happy Emily Harrison, I love talking like the same thing at the grocery store. Yeah. But it's up to them to be able to, to take that, or to still be in the space that they're in.
Right. But it's like holding every interaction, everything as sacred is what I mean.
Yes.
Everything, like if I'm here for a mission, my mission started already. Like
yes.
Everything is mission. Like
yes.
Waking up in the morning is mission. Like how I have my, anything, how I make my coffee, how I don't drink coffee if I don't want to drink coffee, whatever it is, everything is mission. How I treat this body. Oh my gosh, Emily, I've been getting, I think this is important. I've been having this crazy revelation lately about the fact that this isn't my body. Like when I meditate, like I'll be like, oh my God, like I'm in a suit. Like I'm having these like, oh my God. And with meditation, you're supposed to stay in your body, right? Keep telling yourself to stay in your body. And when I do that, and I've also been following this girl who has been teaching me about manifestation, and she's talking about when she meditates, she looks right 20 degrees up. Have you heard that when you meditate, you look 20 degrees up because you're basically closed. Your eyes are closed.
You're looking like through the third eye?
Yeah, you're looking like to your third eye.
Yeah.
So that makes me uncomfortable. So, cause I like it, like when I really start tripping out about being in this body, like I'm like, where am I supposed to be? You know what I mean? And where am I broadcasting the idea of being in this body from? It goes into this whole other thing. You know what I mean? But, but anyway, sorry, all of that to say, like, when we really can understand that like we are this light body from another place, broadcasting from I don't know where, that's a whole other thing we can discuss sometime. Then it's like, oh my gosh, I have so much control over this body. I have so much control not only over this body, but over the circumstances, over everything, over the genetic code. Like like I can activate the genetic code with my genetic code, with my frequency in this program, in this game.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. And here's what I'm thinking that's coming through right now for me to share. The secret to doing this, guys, is the self-love, is loving yourself. That and let's go back to looking about how we're suppressed. Are you taught in this society to love yourself, specifically in American society? Hell to the no. We are programmed by magazines, by what we see on TV. I know I love the movie Avatar. We are programmed by all of the things in our society that tell us that we're not good enough. Geez, we go to work so that we can, and most of us are working at jobs that we don't like. And we go to work so that we can make money, so that we can pay our bills, so that we can stay in the nice house that we like, so that we can drive around the car that makes us look like we have status, so that we can get the makeup that we need, so that we can get the boob jobs that we need, so that we can, change ourselves to make ourselves love ourselves more. And we're constantly chasing that. And so if you are in a place where you are constantly chasing self-love, then you haven't attained self-love, and you're not going to find out what it truly means to be free. So recognizing all of these ways that you have been subconsciously, you've been programmed to not love yourself and to ditch that shit. My mouth is just flying. Like, you guys, I saw Bex, she did a little bleep of her thing, and Laurel did the F it. I'm just like, let it rip, cuss it out today. Sorry, Mama, if you're watching this. All right, I'm gonna attain my and that puts me in my criticizing mode, criticizing myself for having a foul mouth. So yeah. Anyway, I'll let that go. My mama will, I'm sure, slap me on my hands later for cussing too much today. But when we get into a place where
I love you and your cussing,
right? Thank you. Where we don't love ourselves, you are suppressed. Stuff is not freedom, Jen says. Exactly. Right. That's why the Dominicans are so happy. They have not been suppressed and chained to their things like we have.
Well, it just stops thought. That's the thing. Like, it just stops the flow of thought, and it sends thought into a biofeedback loop. Like, thought only freely flow. Like everything, every person that we interact with, every experience that we have, we create a circuit, and there's free flowing thought. We can't have free flowing thought with a desk or a car or, anything like that. And then also when we're like trying to daydream and like want something, when we're in like greed or lust or something like that, we're creating this whole other dimension based in like low vibrating stuff. So like based in first and second archonic low vibrations, which people want to talk about demons, they want to talk about whatever. What they're talking about is first and second low, first frequency, second frequency, low vibrating things. So like, again, there's nothing wrong with that. You can make that choice to stay there if you want. Personally, I don't want to be there. I want to like be up higher than that. And so it's becoming aware of where you're putting your energy, where you're depositing your energy. Like this morning, I just saw this conversation about, somebody was talking about how they were watching this commercial and like, okay, yeah. In this awakening journey, like emotional things can happen that can make us like, oh my gosh, why am I crying so much all of a sudden? Or, you know what I mean? Like really, you become really emotional. And they were saying, is this what's going to happen all the time? And the thing is, like, what we're actually doing is we're spreading our awareness out on the electromagnetic spectrum. We've only been aware of 4 to 7% of the electromagnetic spectrum. So we're becoming aware of the whole thing, which is like you were saying, 360 senses. Yes. Like we're supposed to be so much more aware and alive, which actually I remember I was praying about it a few years ago, and God was like, Laurel, I was like, why can't it just happen? Like I wanted to just switch and like a light switch. And God was like, Laurel, if it happened all at once, it would kill you guys. Like it's so much energy. It can't happen that way. It has to be this like slow turning on of all this stuff. But whoa, at any rate, like to be mindful.
Yeah, every time Laurel says, whoa, she's getting a hit of something. I've learned to know that about Laurel. Anytime she's going, whoa, I'm like, okay, she's getting something. I'm
getting hit by something. Yeah. But so to be mindful of the fact that like, so like you can keep your thoughts flowing, flow with your thoughts. Love keeps your thoughts flowing. Love's like water. Love. Anyway, also like listening to music, listening to frequencies, listening to things that keep your mind traveling. Sorry, what?
Right here. Selman hit on that solfeggio scale, the 528 hertz, which is known as the miracle frequency or the love frequency. It's known to repair broken DNA. This is a solfeggio frequency, guys. Google 528 hertz. Pull it up on YouTube. You're going to find all kinds of different meditations, different musics, different binaural beat things that you can listen to. I recommend putting in headphones, because with binaural beats, you're getting like boom, 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 boom. They're layered underneath the music that you're hearing, but they go into different ears at different speeds. And what it does is it triggers your different brain waves. So I love that Laurel talked about how you get into the biofeedback loop at certain points in time, and it interrupts you from having free-flowing thought. When you're in theta brain waves, you're going to stay in free-flowing thought, which is very hard to say. And there are certain ways that you can trigger these other brain waves that are easier, that keep you more easily in that free-flowing thought. Okay, there are 4 different brain waves that scientists have classified. And different ones do different things. And if you want to be in those higher frequency, free-flowing areas, find things like the solfeggio scale, like binaural beats, that actually shift your brain waves and put you in a different dimension. They put you in a different frequency. And that's one really powerful way that you can prepare yourself for coming into these higher vibrational energies and activating them. And I want to go back to one other thing that you said, Laurel. How much of the electromagnetic spectrum did you say we have a grasp on? Like 4 to 6%? I think that you said? 4 to 7. 4 to 7%. Okay, so that's just of the electromagnetic spectrum. That's just of what we can kind of figure out what's going on.
Right.
Beyond the electromagnetic spectrum, okay, so the electromagnetic spectrum only represents 0.003%. That's 0.03 of 1%. Of the energy that is available in the entire universe. So we're processing 4 to 7% of the amount that we can see and understand. And that amount in totality is only 0.03 of 1% of what is out there in the entire universe. Okay, so yes, we would be absolutely blown to smithereens if we were to try to take in all of this at once.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about. It's my favorite. That's one of my favorite quotes. Is Confucius, like, the greatest thing that I know is that I don't know, you know, because that's, I feel like, how you can really tell a truly wise person, which is circling back to the beginning of of what we were talking about in the very beginning. How you can tell a truly wise person is how open they are to hearing an opposing idea.
Yeah. That's cool that you said that. One way that I recognize that I employ that in my life is I share that I'm not down with vaccinations. Do not vaccinate my children. And when I'm looking for and homeopathic methods are always my first go-to. All right. My kids don't get a trip to the doctor right off the bat unless my guides tell me head to the doctor, in which case I do. But for the most part, I address their health and things that get shifted inside of their body with other methods before I run to putting pharmaceuticals inside of their body. Now, when I'm looking for a pediatrician for my kids, I do not look for somebody who has the same thought process as I do. I look for the pediatrician who says, you got to vaccinate, you got to do this, you got to do this, because guess what? They're going to bring to the table the thoughts, the information, the perspective that I'm naturally not going to explore. I stand very strong in the fact that I make the decision of what's right for my kids, but there's no way that I can do all of the research that is out there. So I purposely seek out someone who has a different opinion than I do. Not because I feel, well, I just explained why. I don't need to reiterate why, because then I'm just talking too much. You get the idea, right, guys? You get the idea.
Yeah.
Should we open it up to some questions from people? You think, Laurel?
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions?
You guys have questions that you want to ask?
Look, there's 17 people. That's my favorite number. Hooray, 17.
This is sort of like a thought-provoking question here.
What if I told you the Garden of Eden is all around you? Only thing taken away was the sight to see it. Of course.
I love that. I would say that is one of the coolest things I've heard all day, if you said that to me, Solomon. Yeah, all right, Karen's had a question. She says that she sleeps with all 9 solfeggio tones at night. Is that good?
Yeah, that's amazing.
If you can, if you can handle that amount of frequency, yeah, go for it.
That's what I was gonna say too. If that amount of frequency is like good for you, I just realized yesterday I wear this this quartz. It's Lasco quartz. Lasco just means it's when quartz grows, it's the first part before it grows up. It just grows flat. So that's what this part is. And then this one is jade. And I wear these 2 all the time, and I have a little garnet that I wear. And I wear, anyway, these other 2 that I've worn all the time, and I couldn't sleep very well the past couple of nights, and I was like, what is wrong? I don't understand. And, I just took these 2 necklaces off, and that was what was really affecting me. It was insane how much it really affected me, because so I think that's a very important thing, like you're saying, to bear in mind right now. To be really, self-love looks like being in close communication with your body and saying what's right for my body right now. Maybe it's going to change throughout the week, different, just daily. So
yeah, that is a huge aspect of self-love, is tuning into how much frequency that you can hold at one time. And in my course, Learning to Read the Akashic Records, it's one of the first things that I deal with is responsibility of being in that higher vibrating space. Like, you have to have a certain level of awareness and responsibility when you're in there, or else you're going to get your circuits blown, right? And when we're first learning to access, and like, it's like working out. You don't go to the gym for the first day if you haven't been to the gym for a year, and work out for 3 hours if you want to get up and be able to walk from your bed to go pee to the bathroom in the morning.
Right. Yeah.
If you go too hard and too fast, you're going to be crushed. So that is a huge aspect of self-love, is recognizing that there is having responsibility for how much time we are putting ourselves in these higher frequencies, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Selman's got to run. All right. Have a great rest of your day, Selman. Thank you for joining us.
Bye. Yeah, thank you.
Well, who else has a question out there? Questions. While we're waiting for any more questions to come in, Laurel, if people want to track you down, if people are interested in more, like Welcome to 5D, tell people where they can find you, how they can work with you. Give us a little bit more about like what your mission is, how you share it. Break that down a little bit.
Okay, well, I have
Kelly. Yes, the answer to that. Okay, sorry, Laurel, go.
Oh yeah, 528.
It's 528 actually. 528.
Yeah, like there's a. Hold on. I wish I could. Oh, I guess I don't know. I wonder if I can put it in the comments. This one. Hold on. I have one that's 528 that I love so much. I'll put it in the comments real quick. I'll try to. But like, dude, you guys, I listen to 528. Like, I don't do it right now because, well, just for tech reasons in my house. But when I can, I leave 528 on all the time. Like, I leave my computer plugged in. I used to just sleep with it at night. Always. Like, there's nothing wrong with just having 528 on just all the time.
This guy's name, I think you might be able to put something in the comments. I was able to put this here. So Glenn Harold with 2 N's, and I don't know if I spelled his last name right. I tend to spell things wrong very often. This is a guy who created apps that I downloaded on the very first edition iPad that I had. And he did these awesome solfeggio scale meditations, like guided meditations for each different chakra, each different frequency. The 528 was on there. And I went through probably a year of just, these were my meditations, whichever one I felt like listening to at that point in time. Shut up. Okay, so that's, I don't think they can copy the link off there, but Laurel put a link up there so you guys can check out the one that she likes.
Yeah, and I just put that one. Anyway,
I spent 2 years probably going through these, whichever one would come up for me in that day, in that time that I wanted to listen to, I would go listen to that one. And if you seek out what it is that you are looking for example, the 528 hertz, you're going to find what resonates for you. Let's see. I remember actively starting a journey a year and a half ago and thinking nothing is happening. This is going to take forever. This is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing this, Bex, because this is, right? Sometimes when you start meditating, we're expecting to have an experience that feels like you just dropped some kind of a drug and all of a sudden you're in this la-la land and you're like, oh yeah, this is amazing. Doesn't always happen that way. Now it can. There are some people who have really intense awakening experiences. I don't know that is the best way for all of us to wake up. Like Laurel said, it like blasts your circuits open, and it can have mal effects inside of the way that we're wired. So going slow and feeling like nothing's happening in the beginning is part of the process. Stay with it. One of the first lessons that you learn is perseverance, is staying with it, is allowing the process to be whatever it is, even if it feels like nothing. Yeah.
And trusting your heart, trusting your heart more than anything, trusting your heart. And I don't even want to say more than anything, but just trusting your heart. Like, you know, like, you know what's best for you. You wrote the script. Like, you have angels, gods around you. Like, it's funny. Like, I used to have this friend who was like, you're born alone and you die alone. And he would say that all the time when he was talking about like having like interpersonal strength. Cause I was always so impressed with him for his interpersonal strength. Cool. And, yeah, it's like especially for women, I feel like it's an issue, not an issue, but it's something for us to learn to really love being alone and like love being like, single, if you will, or whatever, like doing your own thing, not like the family thing or the wife thing or the husband thing or just anything, the kids thing or whatever, but doing your own thing, you know, and like how that integrates like throughout your life, like how you, because we're untangling that right now for the divine feminine, you know what I mean? And we're really like putting that power in a different place. So, yeah, loving yourself for that. Like, for instance, Emily, like before this, like you had a kid that like you wanted to, that you're going to like take to do something in a second. Yeah. And like, and I was like, I'm so proud of you for that you're like, okay, we're going to go do this in a second, but like, I have to do this real quick. And I was like, that's such a good mom. Like, because like so many moms would be like, I can't do this right now. I have to run and do this because blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? There's like, probably about 60% of the moms I know wouldn't be doing what you're doing right now because they'd get all in a flurry, you know? And like, that's not that, and that doesn't help the child. You know what I mean? That doesn't help the child or you or whatever, but it's like staying in a place of love and peace and acceptance and understanding. You're listening to God. God's telling you what's going on. You know that you're doing this and then you're going on to another step. You know what I mean? So anyway, I just wanted to applaud you for that I noticed that.
Thanks. I want to applaud you for this. Teresa Warren says, Laurel Love healed my pain in my sleep. Teresa Warren is a graduate student of learning to read the Akashic Records. She's also a certified Akashic Record practitioner. And I just want to say, like, when Teresa holds a very, very high vibrational frequency. And I think that when you come in contact with people who are holding such a high frequency, and then Laurel, I think this is a testament to you. When you come in and help heal somebody with such a high frequency, that's a testament to your frequency and what your gifts and abilities are. And I asked you a second ago, and then I think I got derailed or might have put up another question. But for people who want to work with you and want to know more about what you do, where do they come find you? What kind of things? Yeah, that's...
Sorry, I didn't say it too. Okay, so yeah, so I do like counseling. And, well, I don't want to say counseling. I do like activation and healing, different things like that. I have a website. I'll put my website up. Yeah. But I have a website and that you can go to and people pay me for my time. I speak to people on the phone.
Which, by the way, they should, guys. If you're not paying for your healing services, there's an energetic quality of you not putting value on them. Now, you might be saying, but I do value it. In my heart and my mind, I do value it. Guess what? In this society right now, money and commerce is how we stay, like, while we talk about being caught in this matrix of going to work and not liking our jobs and making our money just to stay in, you know, just to keep afloat with our bills, if you come across somebody like Laurel, like Emily, like Teresa, who have services that require you to show up and pay for them, don't get pissed off that you have to show up and pay for them. First of all, recognize that you're working with people who are breaking the system, who are learning to make money by healing, by helping, by doing what they love. I do not feel imprisoned by my job. I love my job. Okay, I love going to work. The most difficult thing about my job is balancing it with my family, but I do not feel imprisoned by my job. I love it when I go to work. So if you have the opportunity to go and work with somebody like that and pay somebody like that, do it with a freaking happy heart. Also, here's the other thing. Recognize that by wanting things for free and not being willing to value what it is that you're getting, you're basically saying, I'm not worth it, or I can't afford it, or I'm going to stay stuck in my mindset and my thoughts and my programming, and I'm not going to step outside of that. If you have the opportunity to invest in yourself and your healing, do it. Because you are not only, one, associating with people who are breaking out of the cycle, which most of us want to do. Most of us want to break out of the cycle, right? I hope you wouldn't need to explain payment with a group of people like this. Yeah, sometimes you do though. Sometimes we do. And for me, it's a big thing because I recognize where I have contributed in the past lifetimes to taking vows of poverty. As I'm creating my business now, I'm learning if I don't put a value on what it is that I'm offering people, how do they value it?
Yeah, and also,
right?
you know what I want to, and what I want to add to that, I think what I want to hear your heart saying too is that like also it's an interesting path to take this path where it's like I've got to sell myself, I've got to market myself, I've got to do all the stuff that it goes really against my grain. Like I just want to get in the room with somebody and be like, have the angels come in and talk to them and heal them and see all their stuff and clean it all out and all this stuff. But instead I have to get a website and they have to pay me for my time and I have to pay rent and all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. So for energy workers too, just for you guys too, I believe that there's anybody that's coming to this information right now has a pretty specific role structurally in our next move forward, because there's so many people right now that are there's very definite forks being taken in the road, people saying oh, F that stuff, I don't believe in any of that stuff, and then people saying oh my gosh, this stuff is life. So I think that there's people that are definitely moving forward structurally into that. And we've been taught, you're saying, for me, I feel bad sometimes charging people. I can see that they need help. I can see what they've got going on sometimes, you know, and not always, but sometimes. But the thing is, I know that I'm not doing anyone any good to give it to them for free because they don't value it. So and it took me 2 years to learn this. My mentor had this huge discussion with me where it was the first time he actually got angry with me and I was whoa, but it was over the fact that he was no, nothing is free, Laurel, nothing is free, and I was yeah, things are free. He's no, nothing is free.
It's energetic exchange.
There's an energetic exchange. That's exactly what I was going to say. Energetic exchange. There's energetic exchange on everything, which is when you begin to really realize that you can I don't know, that really helps. When people understand energetic exchange, then they can understand how they're letting themselves become drained by the other things going on in their life, where they're just giving out energy with nothing coming back. Because religion has taught us, religion, whether people were raised in the church or in the Bible Belt or their parents hate flipping Christians, whatever it is, America has a structure of religion that just reeks through everything here, through our culture and everything in this puritanical way. And what it's taught us is that true love and true, whatever, God's trueness, doesn't ask for money. It does everything out of just the desire to do things good, which is great. That's great. I believe in that, and that's great. But we don't live in that society right now. We're helping people move from that, what we're in right now, to that society. I believe that that's true. And I've seen those civilizations and those beings are here. But right now we're breaking out of a war zone. You know
we
what
are.
I mean? So you can't come to, and we're restructuring a war zone. So you can't come to anyway, so you can't come to the healers or whatever and not be offering stuff. Anyway, blah, blah.
She's all excited.
I feel we need to stop this line of stuff, whatever. And anyway, because we've talked about it enough and I don't want to.
Yeah, we've talked about it enough.
Yeah. But yeah, so, anyway, yeah. So anyway.
All right. So all that being said, Laurel has very powerful services. And if you're interested in hanging out with Laurel and having some of those powerful services shifting in your life, she stuck her website up there so that you guys can get in touch with her.
Yeah, recently I've been seeing some really cool stuff like that. Teresa said I healed her in her sleep. People have been telling me that I've been going to their dreams and healing them, which I don't do that. I don't even know how that works, but that's awesome. But yeah, I've been having people who've got physical healing, massive physical healing. I've got people who've got healing from thousands of dollars worth of debt. Different, really interesting, big stuff is happening. So yeah, so that's what we're going to do with these activations. When I realized these things were happening, it's been happening basically for me over about a 30-day period. And I realized that my powers or abilities or whatever have raised up. And when that happens, then I want to it's time to disperse that as well. So that's
Yeah.
what I wanted to do with this activation, is to do it on like a group level, because ultimately my goal is to do this on like a massive group level. So that's what I want to do on 7/7, and then on 7/11 is get us into like a meditative space where we can break off a lot of these barriers and clean out a lot of synaptic pathway loops and just be able to hear clearer. So,
Sounds good to me.
May the 4th be with you. We haven't said that yet today.
Brian says, what time on the 7th and 11th? I don't know that we've actually scheduled, you and I haven't talked about that or scheduled that, but let me just ask you, are you getting any hits on exactly what time that needs to come through, Laurel, or shall we share with that when that does come through for you?
I felt like the same time feels good to me. Does that feel good to you?
Yeah, I like this.
I feel like this is like actually like a good time to be like, no matter what, I feel like we're going to keep doing stuff. And so like whatever that day happens, maybe this will be our time. If that feels good to you. But
I'm happy. I like this time.
We can do that. We can talk about that a little more. But I feel like it's good to be known for like a time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Yeah.
As soon as you said that, 100%. Yes.
Yeah.
It's good to be known for a time. I really don't have to say it any better than that. That's easy.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah. So I'm really, wow. Emily, this was wonderful.
It was fun, huh?
Yeah, it was really good. Like, I just adore you and what you've done. And I really feel like it's really powerful to really encourage each other as women. Like, I really love that. Like, I really, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I would love to in the future interview other women about the things that they're doing, possibly. Like, I don't know, just really get some good feminine stuff going.
Well, because we're at the divine feminine is really coming back into power. That shift is really kind of part of the overall theme of the shifts that are happening on the planet. Is not only the awakening in each one of us, but that reawakening of the divine feminine. And when I talked about the ancient Egyptian society earlier, that was a matriarchal society, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the women were, the ones who were running everything and in charge of everything. It means that aspect of the divine feminine was in balance, and it was appreciated, and it was respected. And that divine feminine has to do with creation. It has to do with intuition. It has to do with the magical side of life. And so many times, in this society, we are we're ruled by the masculine. We're ruled by the ego. We're ruled by all of the things that we want to shift right now. We need to get these things back into balance. The divine masculine is not bad, by the way. Being in that state of power and that personal power is not a bad thing. But when it gets out of balance, the ego really has an opportunity to take over. And ego is separate. Anything that identifies us is separate. So we've separated the divine masculine from the divine feminine, and they're not working in yin and yang anymore. And we need to bring them back into that balance. So
yeah. Well, let's I feel like, how do you feel about, I'm going to say like a little closing blessing for us.
Say a blessing.
Does that feel good?
That feels good for you guys? Laurel's very good at speaking these things out. So this is going to give you guys a little preview of what the activations are like. So sit up nice and straight, open your heart, just like energetically open yourself to receive this blessing that Laurel's going to speak to us.
Yeah. Yeah, so we just enter into this space in gratitude. We just collectively join our hearts in gratitude. It's so lovely and beautiful to be coming together, even though there's just a few of us right now. It's so fun to be at the beginning. It's fun to be, like springtime. And coming out when you first see the flowers, like they're blooming and the sun is first creeping over the horizon, and just seeing that feeling that first part, just feeling that connection coming together in that first part and loving that first part, just giving ourselves freedom to love that first part. Yeah. And just shut that. I just send away right now. I just blow away any of that criticism of maybe the harsh weather or the harsh, sunlight that might come down toward those little buds and those little plants growing. Yeah, and we just put angelic protection around us right now. Thankful and grateful for the angelic protection around us right now, because when there's a first coming forward for God, when there's a first coming forward in love, there's armies and armies of others around that come and take care of us, because we come from a place of high honor. We come from a place of high love, high protection, high family. So just enjoying that feeling, being together right now, feeling our hearts touch, our heart chakras expand and touch, remembering what it feels like to all just be in love. Like, what are we thinking? We're just thinking love. We're just thinking love. It's really simple. It's really easy. And just being with the breath, feeling that come in, that knowing that the Schumann resonance right now, the Schumann resonance is up high. We are in a different frequency, regardless of whether or not we're seeing it manifest necessarily in shows and different things around us. We know where we are. We know where our heart is. And it's fun to come together with these people who also know and to understand that we're creating this new, beautiful thing. What an honor. What a privilege to be to be chosen, to be approved, to be tested and approved, to be a friend of God, to be a friend of these things moving forward, to be so high in frequency, so high in love that you would draw others to you of that same nature, ones that need to know, ones that, that need to be taught, ones that need to understand, and to know that you have that within your heart. Yeah. So just sending you guys off right now with that feeling of knowing that it's not a better, it's not a different, but it's being up high, knowing that you're a love parent for this generation, man. Like, we came here to be a love parent for this whole thing going through, and most of all to ourselves. So just sending that love, 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 love throughout our bodies, throughout our breath. Every time you breathe today, with your in breath, just thinking, I love myself, and the out breath, I release myself, as you contract and expand, and the pendulum swings into balance, and we're swinging into balance to be these super people that we truly are. Yeah. So wow, in this Independence Day and all the excitement, feeling that excitement, feel that excitement, feel that excitement, and know who you are. Yeah. Woo!
Awesome. So be it, and so it is. Amen.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was awesome. Thank you so much. Santosh just joined us. He thought that we looked pretty sitting here with our eyes closed. We were doing our closing prayer, Santosh, so please go back and check out the replay. This is going to be up for you guys. And it's also going to give you a little preview of the things that are coming for you guys on the 7th and on the 11th. Kelly says, amen. Bring it in.
Yay.
All right, everybody. I am going to close it down now, send you all off to finish celebrating your Freedom Day. Thank you so much for hanging out with us a little bit and getting a different perspective on what freedom means, on how we're going to love ourselves more, on how we are going. And the prayer you spoke about, coming together in the dawn at this time right now, it just gave me chills. That's awesome. So guys, thank you for all being here for the dawn of this trilogy that is coming forward right now. We wish you all a very great rest of your day. Namaste. And we're going to see you again on the 7th. All right.
Bye.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.